It was March 22nd, 2012, St. Thomas, Quebec, Canada, 12:45 in the afternoon. The witness was on his lunch break, driving back to the insurance agency where he was employed when he spotted something very strange in the sky. In his rearview mirror, he observed a huge World War II era plane heading the same direction as him towards Route 131. It was so low to the ground that he decided to speed up and turn down a road. He pulled over and got out of his car to watch it go by. Further up, he spotted another car slowing up and stopping. 2 people got out of that car to watch. At this point, he noticed that the plane had lost altitude and was about 5 meters above the ground. Strangely, the plane was quiet, even though the propellers were clearly turning. The plane had 4 engines, and you could see openings on the side of the cabin. I could see the 2 machine gunners with their leather coats with the white sheepskin lining. I could see right through the plane, and I could see the other side of the plane. As he peered on, looking through to the other side of the plane, he could see a field of blonde wheat standing at a height that they were clearly ready to be mown. Curiously, though, it was March, and the actual field was still covered in snow. So, what exactly was he seeing? About 200 meters from the witness's position, he watched as the plane seemed to turn left, though the left wing did not lower. The airplane did not turn in the normal manner of an airplane, he recalled in his report to the Mutual UFO Network. He watched as it gained altitude and then carried on in the direction of 131. The witness was eager to discuss the strange sighting with the others, but when he turned to look, he noted that they had already returned to their car. At no point did the witness recall hearing any noise, not from the plane or the other witnesses, as if all sound had dropped out. He eventually returned to his car and drove to his work. When I got to the office, I emailed NAV Canada to find out if there was a military plane seen on their radar, flying at a low altitude. In the afternoon, I received a call from someone at NAV Canada who confirmed that he did not have radar to detect low flight's altitude, and that radars are unable to cover all areas of Quebec. The NAV Canada person told me he had contacted me because the email was from an insurance office. I believe that this was some kind of time slip. For a few brief moments there was some kind of overlap, allowing the man and the others to see this plane. But not only that, they were also witness to the time period in which the plane originally flew that area. It was as if the plane and its surrounding area at the time were somehow playing out in front of the witness, like a movie, even though the witness was still very much in his own time. I do wonder if the men manning the guns on the plane, in their time period, possibly the 1940s, observed the witness and the others, and if so, what must they have thought?
In most of the time slip cases that I'm aware of, typically the witness will either, kind of stumble upon a place that they find out later, it doesn't exist, or sometimes there's a futuristic element to it where they see something that isn't built for like another 10 years. But every once in a while you do hear of cases where people interact with people inside these time slips. That France case where the 2 couples stayed at that hotel that they found out, years later that had once existed but didn't exist when they went by. So, and there's a few other cases that I'm aware of, but this is the first time I've ever heard of a case where not only like an object from the past was observed, but the area around the object was also observed. And the area around it didn't match the time period that they were currently in. It was almost like this plane was in a bubble, and it was capturing the entire period, but in this space. in the space of the plane, which is a first for me. I've never heard of anything like that before.
A fascinating and bizarre UFO sighting occurred in South Vietnam involving a B-52 and its crew. For sure, it suggests that these visitors have capabilities far, far beyond our scope of understanding. Investigator Mark McCandlish looked into the case. He managed to track down one of the crew members and interviewed him at length. One night in 1966, the crew of a B-52, which included the witness, were on a nighttime mission over South Vietnam when they observed a massive object a quarter to a half a mile in diameter, 700 feet high, with a series of rotor blades along the circumference of the object. Also, there were about 23 to 28 levels located in the upper clear, transparent dome of the craft. The witness noted that there were windows on each floor. There were, from what they could tell, quote, beings or humanoids looking out those windows. The B-52 flew around the craft 3 times. As they were making their 4th pass around the object, it suddenly departed at an extremely high rate of speed and opened up some kind of hole or window in the sky, which it flew into. The crew, to their astonishment, could see inside that hole a blue sky, white clouds, and even the sun against the backdrop of their nighttime sky. Soon the hole trickled back to darkness as if nothing had happened. Upon landing, the B-52 crew were debriefed by men who claimed to be with the FBI. Michael Schratt, author of Dark Files, a pictorial history of lost, forgotten, and obscure UFO encounters, notes that if indeed they did speak to the FBI that night, then there must be a case file somewhere in the FBI archive.
I'm not a big fan of those cases where, people, say that they've come through a portal or something like that. I entertain them, but I'm not really a big fan of them. But this one is very interesting because this object was able to, it sounds like, open a doorway to either another time zone on the Earth, or a completely different world altogether. That's what it sounds like to me, which is fascinating.